Are you wanting a kickstart on your business and you want to learn how to be the go-to professional in your industry? Well, guess what? I've got a challenge for you. It's 5 days of coaching. It's brand new. Just go to KristaMashore.com/client conversion. That's KristaMashore.com/client conversion. And you'll get a training with me for 5 straight days that's going to help kickstart you as the go-to professional in your industry. So sign up and I'll see you there. Hi, everyone. Are you ready to be fired up? Because I sure am. I've got Beez with me. And Beez, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, thanks for having me on today.
Yeah,
So
excited to have you.
I'm Beez. Thank you. So I'm Beez. A lot of people know me for the Financial Starter Kit. It's a financial literacy book. And then I also help people get into tech. So I do consultations, and then I also just give out a lot of free game online on my blog and then just on Twitter. So that's what a lot of people know me for. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here today.
Yeah, so talk to me a little bit. So financial literacy, explain exactly what it is that you teach people how to do.
Yeah, so basically I teach people how to avoid the traps of the American dream, what I call it. There's some specific things that right now, people are just always falling into the constant trap. So for example, student loans, you can go to college, nothing wrong with college. I got my bachelor's, I'm getting my master's now, but there's a way to do it, right? So you can go without getting into a ton of debt, 6 figures worth of debt. So I think that's a major trap that people are falling into. Another trap is car debt. So auto loan, some people are just going and financing cars that are way, way more than they can afford. So that's another trap that people fall into. And then there's also weddings and home loans. Again, just mostly people buying things that they can't afford. But, at the bank, they'll tell you you can afford anything. Hey, you've been approved for this, even though it really will make you struggle in life. But, that's really what I help people with. I help people avoid those traps and just gain financial literacy in terms of credit, home loans, auto loans, what to do when you're trying to scale up. So whether you want to go to trade school, go to college, all of those different subjects, I help people with those.
So let's talk college, because I think that I had student loans myself. I put myself through school, worked a full-time 9 to 5 job, and then went to school at night to put myself through college. So, and I had student loans even with working full-time. So give us some pointers on that.
Yeah, so when it comes to going to college, so there's a few things you can do. You can go to the military, which some people are against it, but if you're for it, you can go to the military and they'll pay your way through school. You can get scholarships. There's so many scholarships that go unclaimed every single year. So, making sure you apply for plenty of scholarships and trying to get into any of the fellowship programs. So if you're able to do that, that's a way to get through as well. One of my favorite methods is to use the CLEP exams, CLEP. And basically, they're kind of similar to AP exams, but they're 10 times easier. So you can, and they're a fraction of the cost too, as compared to an actual course in college. So you can take a CLEP exam. When I was paying for them, they were $300, and it counted for 6 credits of biology. So I got 6 biology credits for $300. I studied for about a month and I passed the test, and I was easily able to go through college that way. And I had a close friend in school. He clept through all of his gen educational classes. So he clept through his first 2 years of school.
So what? I've never heard of that. So CLEP. So it's
Mhm.
basically like you can get college credit by
Yeah.
taking certain tests in certain subjects.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So they have like biology, physics, chemistry, math, so like calculus, algebra, things like that. They have all of these different courses. You can just take the exam, and if you pass it, that's it. You're done. You get the credits. So you just mainly need to check to see if your school accepts CLEP exams, which most of the schools do. So you just check and see if they accept CLEP exams, and you're able to take these CLEP tests and just get right past those gen ed classes.
CLEP.
Yeah, CLEP.
And it counts just as the same as if you were going to school, taking the college courses at the college.
Right. Yes. Same exact. So the only thing that's different is, you won't get a GPA grade. It'll just be a pass. That's it. So you'll
Oh,
get the
okay. So,
credits and it'll just show as a pass. So you won't get like, any points towards your GPA. Is you'll just get the pass. But we're in college to get through, right? So I wouldn't really worry about the credits about the grades too much.
Is it just for your undergraduate, your AA, not for your bachelor's or your BS?
So it worked for me with my BS. So it works for BS and your AA as well. So, either or, it will work just fine. It's mainly just for those gen ed classes. So, the first 2 years of school is mostly gen ed. So it you can knock those out with just CLEP exams.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. I didn't know about that. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Okay. Very great. Okay, awesome. So now let's talk a little bit about cars. So many kids, are getting credit cards and they think that credit cards are the way to go. And I know there's types of credit cards that you can get that don't actually, really count as where you're not really taking the credit out. So talk to us about credit card debt and car loans.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to credit cards, a lot of people believe that you have to go into debt to build your credit, but the way that I started my credit building process was through secured credit cards. So when I got a secured credit card, I believe the limit was for $300, $400. It wasn't much. And then I just used it for a year. And after using it for a year, my score was in the 700s. Now, of course, you can't go buy a house or anything like that with that, but with that kind of score or a low credit profile. But it's good enough to be able to get started. You build your credit, you show your payment history, so it works out really well. So I just think that when it comes to credit, you just really have to make sure that if you do end up getting a high limit, don't overextend yourself. Whatever you use on your credit card, make sure you can pay it off in full, preferably before your statement due date. So then that way it shows that you didn't use the credit at all, even though that is changing with the FICO 10 scoring. So FICO 10 is going to change credit a lot. So yeah,
Explain FICO 10. Explain that.
so the FICO 10 scoring, basically, it's going to actually, as of right now, with the FICO 8 scoring, credit utilization has no memory at all. So basically, what that means is, like, say if you use 50% of your credit utilization this month, and then you paid it off next month. So the month after that, your credit shows like, oh, you're perfect, everything's paid off. But with FICO 10, it has a memory. It's going to have a 24-month memory. So if you had used 50%, it will still show on your credit report when somebody, say you try to go apply for a house or a car or another credit card, they will be able to see like, hey, this person, they actually used up 50% of their utilization just 2 months ago. So they might not approve you for as much, or it could just impact you getting approved, period. So it's really going to change the entire landscape when it comes to just credit profiles and just your credit score in general.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, yeah. So they launched it this summer, but most lenders aren't going to really be implementing it until about January, February 2021. So it's definitely something that people should look out for. So I don't know if you're familiar with people who buy trade lines.
No.
Are you familiar with that? Yeah, yeah. So basically, when people buy trade lines, so say if you have a credit card that everybody wants, like say Chase Sapphire Reserve. Say you have that card and you've been using it, your utilization's low and you've had it for years. So what people do is they'll sell their access. They'll sell their authorized user account to other people. Let's say for $1,000. Like, okay, you give me $1,000, I'll add you to my account as an authorized user, and it will add your history to their history. So it will add your credit profile history on that card to their profile. So as of right now, that's a really big business. Like a lot of people are using that as just a business in itself, selling trade lines.
Oh, so this way now
And
you won't be able to do that. So that now
no,
it's
you will
real
not.
time data.
Yeah, it's going to be real time data. So that is
But
going
then
to come
wouldn't it
to an
allow people
end.
to be able to like they'd be able to charge on that card too, and then they could charge up the card, which is not be that's not very safe.
Exactly, exactly. So I don't know how people do it. I never recommend anybody to do that. If you really absolutely need to get somebody else's score, I mean, I suggest just staying within your own family and that's it. I wouldn't use some stranger, give them money to be able to boost your credit. People do it, but I definitely don't recommend it at all. But yeah, that's going to come to an end beginning of next year. So people won't even be able to do that anymore.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
They should have
I
done that a
think
long
it's a
time ago.
good thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then as well, so American Express, they were onto it for a long time now. So they know when people are just authorized users and they don't really count it at all. but now it's going to be basically standardized all across the board. Everybody's going to know, like, oh, this person, they're just an authorized user. I mean, it just popped up a couple of months ago, and now they have 2 years worth of history. They'll be able to see all of that. So
Yeah. So now that you're only going to get credit that you've actually earned.
exactly. So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
really going to change the landscape, which is why I always tell people, you want to actually build your credit. Don't try to do all these hacks and stuff like that. Just get your secure credit card or get an unsecured card once you're ready, and just use it. You can't beat time, and that's really the main focus of credit is, how much time do you have, what's your average age of accounts, and how much utilization have you used up, and then also your payment
Payment
history.
history.
So have you been
How
on
well are you
time?
doing?
Exactly. Yeah, how well are you doing? So and again, that payment history has always been long term. So, it's just better just to build a good financial discipline to make sure that you're good to go. The better your score, the better you are financially, typically, when it comes to paying people back.
What made you decide to get into this? How did you, have a love for finances?
Yeah, so basically, when I was younger, I did not want to work until I was 65. So I read Rich Dad Poor Dad like a lot of people. I read it at one of my first internships, and I was just reading through the book, and it was life changing for me. So I just started going through a bunch of different finance blogs and just reading up. I was on Mr. Money Mustache and the Millionaire Fast Lane. So I was on those blogs, and it just helped me out so much. And I was just on Twitter, literally just spreading my knowledge. It wasn't really spreading the knowledge. I was just tweeting about financial things that I saw, and things that people could do. So back then, nobody was really listening. I had maybe 500 followers, but over the past year, I mean, my following's grown from 5,000 to 25,000. So it's just, night and day now. So a lot of people really, respect what I have to say, and they actually listen to the advice that I give, and a lot of people are seeing great results from it.
Good, good. Okay, so what other tips you can give people to our listeners?
Just in general,
Yeah, in
I
general.
would say I would say right now, especially because of COVID, save as much money as you can, right? So I would say save as much money as you can, bare minimum save 10% of everything that you make. Like I said, in terms of credit, make sure that you're starting to build a strong credit profile. Don't use those trade lines and stuff like that. Or if you have to, use your family members. And I would say when it comes to cars, like I said, with COVID, everything is pretty uncertain with the economy. So when it comes to cars, I would definitely don't buy anything you can't afford. And if you don't need a car, I wouldn't buy one right now. Um, I
I'm
would
actually
definitely leave
amazed
those
at how
alone.
many people I'm seeing buy like they're buying boats and they're spending their money, and I'm thinking to myself like, why are you spending? Save it, save your money just
Yeah.
because it is so uncertain.
Yeah. Right now it's so uncertain. So, but the interest rates are so low, so people are just jumping on it. But you never know what could happen. You could lose your job, or maybe they give you a pay decrease with stuff happening in tech where people move to different states, and now they're saying they might adjust their pay. So right now you really never know. So I would just try to be as future proof as possible and be prepared for the future. So just save your money. Don't go spending it on a bunch of liabilities that you don't really need. And then Biden is supposed to be doing a $15,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers. So if you are buying a house next year, that is something that you can take advantage of. You can get the $15,000 tax credit, and whatever your local state or local area has for first-time home buyers. So just don't buy a house that is much more than what you can afford. Some people recommend people to stretch it, but honestly, I tell people, if you're buying your first property, I like to tell people to try to get an investment property first. So whether you buy a single family home and you do what they call house hacking, and you rent out the other rooms and then eventually move out, or you can buy a 2 unit, which is like a duplex or a triplex, live in one unit and rent out the other ones, and now you're living for free. And if you use a FHA loan, you can stay there for 12 months and then move out and then get your house that you really wanted.
Yeah, good, good. I love that. How old are you?
I'm 28.
You're 28. You
Yeah.
see, yeah, you're well beyond your years.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah. So
Thank
you
you.
also you help people get into tech. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I hope people get into tech. I believe that tech is probably the easiest way to make six figures for just about anybody. So basically, I just help people with picking their career that they want to get into, figuring out which certifications can help them, what's their easiest path into tech. But tech is so vast, so it is really a depends on who the person is, right? It's not one size fits all, but there are definitely a few paths that you can take that will help you get right into tech.
And without having to have a college degree.
Yeah, exactly. Without having to have a college degree, you can literally get certifications. You can teach yourself how to code. You can go to a coding boot camp, or you can just get right into the nitty gritty and just start getting your own experience. And because nowadays anybody can be a freelancer, so if you're starting to gain skills and once you get your confidence, you can start to take on some small clients, very small clients, very small projects, and add that to your portfolio, and that will help you get a job very quickly.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. Google, like they hire a lot of kids that haven't even gone to college. They're hiring people that just have really
Right.
good, great skills. In fact, I think most of Google's employees have not graduated from college. They just are just great at tech.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, and that's where the future is headed. So, with college, it's going to be much different. I think the prices may lower, and then I don't think that when it comes to tech, the degrees aren't as required as what they used to be. So, I just think that a lot of people should definitely at least learn about tech if that's something you're interested in, and see what you can do within the near future. Because there's some people who, literally never were in tech, and within 6 months they're in a whole new position and they're making like 80,000 plus. So
From just being techie. Well,
yeah,
this
from
has
just
been
being techie.
great. This has been great, Beez. I really, really appreciate it. So how can people find out about you? Find more
Oh,
from you?
so you can find me on Twitter at capital_SB, and then I'm also on Instagram at capital.SB. And I do Finance Fridays. They're Instagram live videos where I bring on a guest, or I'm on there just talking about finance. I talk about tech, any question. It's basically like a live podcast. And then my blog is on capitalsb.com. And if people are interested in buying my financial literacy book, it's Financial Starter Kit, and it's a best-selling book on Amazon. So you can find it on Amazon, or you can get a digital copy on my website, financialstarterkit.com.
Financialstarterkit.com. So she's got some great advice there. She's really, really just tearing it up as far as helping people with their finances, and really great practical advice. So go find her, the financialstarterkit.com. And remember, everybody, nothing happens unless you actually take action. But Beez, I always have everyone end by just giving one great piece of advice, whether it's personal or business, whatever you feel. What would one piece of advice that you would like to give?
I would like to tell people just to never give up. Whatever you do, don't give up and believe in yourself. That's really all it takes to make it to wherever you want to be in life.
Just don't stop, right?
Yeah, don't stop. Keep going.
Don't stop. Keep going. I love that. Okay, Beez, thank you so much. I look forward to getting this out there for you. And as always, everyone, remember, learning is great, but implementation is key. Have a great day, and I'll see y'all soon. Hey there, I have a brand new podcast called Fired Up with Krista Mashore, where I bring my high energy right to your ears. This podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. So do me a favor, go subscribe and leave a review. All this information is free, and I cannot wait to teach you everything I know. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.